Okay, everything's working. Okay, so I was supposed to make a video. Well, I'm not supposed. I was going to. I should correct myself. I was going to make a video this week that was my Zenless Zone Zero DA clears, and I was also going to make a yapping video about the importance of walking in neutral, but I never got to editing the Zenless Zone Zero clears, and I'm still in the middle of fixing up my clears, I think. Right now, I am currently top 2.3%, and I want to push a little farther into like the 1.x bracket before I upload my clears because I understand that I'm not like the best in the world. But again, I am really, really enjoying ZZ's gameplay right now. So I do eventually want to upload like some gameplay to the channel. But that's just not on the cards right now, but it will be in the future when I'm a little bit better and I get good enough clears that I'm not like super unhappy with. Well, not unhappy per se, but I feel like they could be better. I'm running a really weird team on stage one. That's like Orphe, Evelyn, Trigger. It's a fun team, but I feel like my rotations and everything is fucking ass, and I need to like route it. Like I'm right, take like a pen and paper and go through all my footage of that fight and just like try to route decibels and shit because man, when niggas were talking about like decibel management in that game, I always kind of took it as like, this doesn't matter. And then I tried to do like Pompeii without decibel management, and I was like, what the fuck? I can't get Astra to get her ult before the first stun. And then I looked on someone else's video and I was like, okay, this guy got 45k with similar stats or slightly worse substats than me. How did they do it? And I was like, oh, he routed his decibels by not putting Astra on field as soon as possible and instead using like one of Pompey's attacks to let her, dodge counter it and get decibels by doing the perfect assist. I was like, holy shit, that's genius. And I was like, oh, that's why they route fights for decibels so like tediously in that game. And I was like, oh, it finally made sense, like why they do that, right? So I was like, okay, I want to go through the other two fights and see if I can improve my decibel routing in those two. Like Notorious Butcher is literally just an execution check. Like he is can you play Miyabi at a decent level check because that character is not easy and that team is very difficult. So if you can do that, you will get good scores on a but I'm still learning how to do mono ice. I can't do the stun window at all. I can do the neutral, but I can't do the stun. So I'm gonna learn the stun either tomorrow or Monday because I can't go to locals Monday, so I have another free day at home that I'll just spend learning mono ice, I guess. But that's enough Zenless on Zero talk. I'm kind of worried about talking about Melty Blood because it is the 27th right now, and if y'all don't remember, I should it doesn't matter, I guess. Y'all actually I'll do you guys a favor and I'll remove the taskbar. Taskbar behaviors automatically hide it. It doesn't matter that much, I don't think. Okay. What was I saying? Right. So if y'all guys remember, I said that every single month I would be making a Melty Blood thoughts video where I talk about my thoughts and plans of Melty Blood for the month. And I don't want to make this video too general because if I do, it's going to bite into the video that I'm going to be making literally in 2 days. I will probably what's probably going to happen is I'm going to make it tomorrow and then I'll just upload it on the first because I really, really doubt that my opinions and thoughts will change that much before the first. But if it need be, I'll re-record it on the first if I got to. Anything else? Also, because the first is so close, my Scotcha vlog video is well, it probably will just happen with the fucking deadly assault resets because honestly the next story for both Zenless and Wuthering Waves is like wild. I think Wuthering Waves story is in like 10-ish days. So it would be if I pull this up, the 10 days from now would be like 1 week. It would literally be the 8th. Yeah, so I'll probably just make like a basic like account review, basic like count overview on the for the video and do more into like the end game content and talking more about it, I guess. Now finally for the Melty Blood content you guys have all been waiting for. The footage in the background is, as you can tell at this point, like completely unrelated to what I'm talking about. So if you have not done so already, make sure this video is in the background because you're not going to be gaining anything from looking at the screen here. But I wanted to talk about one of those like minor things I've noticed. For those of you who don't know, I have been currently learning C Scion and H-Arc. I've had an H-Arc for literally years at this point. You can like ask anyone and they'll tell you that I've been able to play H-Arc for like the better half of like 2.5 years, I think. I literally learned her combos because I was bored one day and I was like, okay, this is just to improve my execution. If I could do H-Arc combos, I can probably do harder H-Kkohaku combos. And that's literally the only reason I learned her. But I'm really, really in regards to certain matchups in this game. So I decided that C-Scion would probably be a better pick into them than just playing and brute forcing H-Kkohaku. Shit like Miyako, Hime, and Satsuki is like one of the biggest ones. Satsuki, Len, and the two I mentioned earlier are all super duper annoying. So the idea was I would run C-Scion into them. But I've kind of sort of dropped the idea because while I would like to like brute force C-Scion into better people, Climax is literally in like 30 days and I don't want to be splitting my time that I'm spending playing Melty between characters that I'm literally not going to bring out at all during Climax. It will literally just be H-Kkohaku only for Climax, so I'm just not super duper oh, I forgot to turn on the music the whole time. Oops. I mean, 8 minutes in, who cares? Who cares? I mean, you already know the name of the track because it was on the background for a second, but you know, it's whatever. What was I saying? Right, I don't want to risk playing characters I'm not super comfortable on in bracket like at all, so I'm just gonna play H-Kkohaku the whole time. So with that in mind, I was like that yeah, there's not much point in playing H-Arc right now unless I would like 5-0 or 10-0 the opponent that I'm playing against. Then I'll play H-Arc and C-Scion to get better neutral, to work up my ability to look at the screen. And while I've been doing those sorts of games, there is something that I've noticed, and it's about how a lot of players don't really take full advantage of walking in Melty Blood, and they're always like dashing or overcommitting in neutral or in play or on offense, I guess. I mean, it's more often in neutral than it is in like any other situation, but people are usually taking frames that aren't there and they are killing themselves because of it. And what do I mean? Okay, so the best example I can give of is like when people are trying to catch a tech after an after a burst, and like they air dash after the tech because the idea is like, oh, the opponent text this way, my air dash button will meaty them and then fucking smoke them, right? But then usually what happens is that if your opponent is like any good, is that they're going to see that you're not on the ground and you're teching and you're it's a soft knockdown. So what they're going to do is they're just going to tech the way that you're not air dashing and scramble, because you're just letting them scramble for free. And that's something that was happening a lot versus I'm not gonna name names, but if you know who you are, if you played versus me and I played C-Scion and I just forced scrambles with like DP and I just teched like a madman, I was like, when I'm teching a lot, I'm either a mega piss or I realize that you're not like covering techs very well. And it happens a lot more often than I think it should, especially considering a lot of characters have like really good ways to catch and chase techs without overcommitting a lot. Like H-Kkohaku has to sort of like overcommit in order to catch techs because her buttons all have a lot of recovery. Like the only button she has that is good at covering techs is 5B blowback edge, which is not super consistent. Like you can't get it off of every single like deck chase scenario, it's usually only on burst, and you'd have to be on the ground, and your person has to get hit by the burst, which is a whole lot of situations that aren't super consistent. Like in high level play, you're going to see that when it comes to H-Move burst, most top players just don't get hit by it at all, because you always know it's coming, so you don't ever have to put yourself in a position where you do get hit by it. So like, it's not super consistent for H-Kkohaku to cover, you know, burst tech. But for some characters like Hisui is a big one because she just presses 2B on reaction. Characters like Alko, like I was playing versus a lot of people, and what kind of surprised me is just how much I was able to get away with just attacking like a madman or like a doofus, because they would like air dash the tech or some shit. I mean, running techs at techs is also one of those things that is like not really recommended, especially if you're like a character with a slowish run, because you're kind of gambling a little bit, because you have to cut. Like normally when you're running, it's because you're like hard reading a tech direction as opposed to covering all of the tech options. I mean, there is always that thing about tech in which you get like randomly crossed up and your button hitbox goes the other way, and the opponent lands behind the hitbox. Like when that happens, like that's just unfortunate. But normally you can just not run and you not like dash at them and not have to risk that sort of bullshit happening. Like honestly, I've been thinking more about like neutral and shit, and I think that like walking is like one of those things that's like omega underrated. Like if you were looking at the footage in the background right now, for whatever reason, you would notice that on offense I'm doing a lot more walking once I get like into mid range, and I'm also trying to not dash as much in neutral, because like I think dashing is like you gotta always be aware of what you're giving up anytime you press the dash button. I think a lot of people dash or air dash too without like thinking about, oh, what am I giving up when I air dash or dash. Like, I know this is kind of like omega general, but again, I don't want to go too much into specifics. I'm gonna save that for the video tomorrow. I kind of noticed it in my own play that I was getting hit like dashing a lot. You'll notice this train of thought from from the video that I made at the very start of the month, that was my Melty Blood logs for, what month is it? September? Yeah, my Melty Blood log for September. I noticed about how I was getting hit during my dash startup and air dash startup, so I tried to stop dashing as much. And if you were paying attention versus the sets that remember, there are sets that are being uploaded to the playlist that I'm not making an announcement for. I mean, they're usually going to be public for like a day or so before they go unlisted. So I have a lot of sets that I do need to actually, you know, put back on the backlog. But regardless, point is, on a lot of my sets, I'm just like not dashing like nearly as much as I used to. I mean, I'm still kind of struggling to place a few buttons. Like I'm really uncomfortable with like the 5B 2C mini game. I feel like that's something I need to enforce in neutral, but I'm not like super duper comfortable with it yet. I kind of feel like I'm making a few mistakes with it, but the general idea is there, where I'm just like walking in mid range and like reacting to stuff. And it kind of has to do with the whole like looking at the screen thing. Like I know I'm being like super duper jumping around like a whole bunch of topics, but like you normally get told to like look at the screen as like one of those like pieces of advice. Like the big person who says it now in Melty Blood would be Makoto Fox. Like he'd always be like, oh, look at the screen. Deji would also say it a lot too, but he barely commentates Melty anymore. I think he's like fully transitioned to Dengeki now. And it's one of those things that makes more sense like once you are deeper into the game and you start like looking over your replays and thinking about footage. And it's like, okay, I could have reacted to the fact that he only had air dash, and I could have like put myself in a position where I beat the air dash without overextending, or I cover the air dash by hard reading X. Like it's one of those things that is like, it makes like complete intuitive sense to people who are, amazing at the game. But like, man, it's hard advice. Like looking at the screen like actively and taking full account of your opponent's options at like every single second is really hard. Like in this set, in the background, I did not look at the screen very well at all. Like when it comes to sets versus people like Alps and Skeleton and like Zay, I find it really, really hard to track what they're doing on the screen and to take note of what they're doing super duper well, which is I think one of the reasons why they like smoke me in neutral so damn often, because they're just playing at a pace where I'm struggling to like keep track on where they are at the screen and to keep track of their air options, because that's just one of the strongest things you can do in Melty Blood, just paying attention to where your opponent is on the screen and what options they have available. Like it's weird. Like it's hard to explain. Oh, this I'm not gonna explain it. It doesn't matter because it's background footage. It's kind of hard to explain how difficult it can be to look at the screen, because like versus some players, you will literally like notice yourself doing it like super consistently and super easily. Like it's not difficult to track the movements of people who are mid-level or lower, like versus a lot of people in this game. I can like play and always be thinking about, oh, what do they have left, what are they trying to present, or a threat in X or Y, right? But versus players like Skeleton and Alps, it's like it's really difficult to look at the screen and position your character in a way that's like, intelligent as well. I think that's like the big issue. Okay, I know I said the background footage did not fucking matter, but like 10 seconds ago, that JC not hitting cross up was fucking criminal. Anyway, back to the background footage not mattering. Another thing that has been one of those annoying things is I feel like I've lost the ability to do the 2A5 DOS, which is weird. I could do it in training mode, but I can't do it in matches. I think I pressed the D button too fast, and I'm not timing the 2A BD properly. It's just one of those things I probably have to grind out by playing a fuck ton of games versus specifically Nadia players. But like I spoke most of the Nadia players that aren't Alps, and I get mad versus Alps all the damn time. Like I guess, excuse me. I guess I'm pretty bad at losing, because when I lose, I get tight, like really, really bad. So it's like one of those things that I guess, like, I understand that after a loss, I'm probably like omega annoying to talk to, especially since I usually use losses as a good chance to downplay, or as I like to put it, justifiably complain about my character. And I get that it's like, you've been beating me for like how many years, and I still say shit about my character being dog shit every single time, despite the fact that I will randomly win a bracket. Like I get it, it's annoying. But like I'm just like, sometimes like when you feel like nothing is being improved, like I know that I am improving at the game, but it's like one of those, like sometimes like when the improvements are there but you don't get any results, it feels really, really ass. Like I mean, there was a result in this set, I guess. Like I won versus the Tono, like Alps Tono, like 5-2 or 5-3, which is, and I won it by like the cleanest I've ever won versus his Tono in like forever, really. I don't, like, I used to be able to like 5-1 or 10-1 his Tono, but like that was like 2 sets and only those 2 sets, and I've never been able to do that again. And normally I go even or lose to it, so like, there's been an improvement, obviously. But I still lose to like random mystery heroes like the Wara and like the Scion and like the Ciroa, so it's like, it's, again, it kind of hurts the ego when people who play a quadrillion characters are all able to perform on those characters better than your one trick, Like on one hand, like you could argue that being able to play multiple characters is like a sort of a necessary skill, because it probably makes looking at the screen easier once you played a character yourself. Like when I played Harmful earlier today, and he is on his H-Arc arc. But I've played H-Arc for a while, so I know what that character is looking for at the screen. Like the only thing that was like catching me off guard was literally only like H-Arc teleports, because I don't really use those at all. I kind of forget those exist like a good 80% of the time, and it made me like pause to like track what Harmful was doing on the screen whenever he pressed the teleport. But like other than that, yeah, I always knew what Harmful was doing at the screen, and it's like, oh, I'm getting better at looking at the screen. You know, it's an improvement. And I think that's most of what I have to say for Melty right now. Like, I guess this like video was like super duper general. I mean, like originally I wanted to make a yapping video about dashing and frames, but I kind of feel like the advice is too it's kind of too hazy. I feel like it's hard to explain how to both look at the screen in a way that doesn't feel like obtuse, and it's also hard to explain how like dashing and air dashing's, you know, frame costs actively matter in a set. It's like one of those things that you like are better off learning about, or like someone telling you and then figuring it out as you play like a set or something, and you realize like, oh, holy shit, every single time I dashed, my opponent was stuffing out my dash startup or my dash startups button. And it's like, oh, maybe I should just not dash. It's like, I feel like it's one of those conclusions that maybe you're better off just finding out naturally when you think about the game more in depth. But if you figure out that from here and I cause you to consider your gameplay and you're like, oh, holy shit, I've also been dashing a lot and noticed that my dashes have been getting their startup clipped. I mean, you also do run into like separate issues when you stop dashing like as much, but like it's improvement, right? You're always trying to get better at like noticing the situation and realizing what you should do in neutral, yada 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 yada. So I hope this video was at least of entertainment value. I mean, I don't think it's all that educational. This was just sort of me just like talking about Melty Blood. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to have the sets, like this set versus Alps. I also have a set versus it might be versus Harmful, or it might be versus, I can't remember. I have like 7 or so sets that I've recorded but have not uploaded. So I'm going to upload 2 of them today, and I'll upload 2 of them tomorrow. Okay, and I'll see you guys for the next Melty video. Will probably be either tomorrow afternoon or most definitely on the 1st. Okay, so see you guys.